Hello and welcome to DDM Morning Show. I am Toshku Raphael, joined by co-host Ibrahim Umawase. Ibrahim, you are welcome to DDM Morning Show today.
Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, today is Friday, and here are the stories for you. Anambra insecurity. APC challenges Soludo's government. COPDEM to inaugurate 3,840 local government and ward executives in Anambra State. And then we shall move to Omoyole Showore, detained by the police. Take It Back movement holds nationwide protest. And the Amnesty International calls for Showere's immediate release. And finally, we shall talk about the Burkina Faso's great strides in fight against terrorism. It has regained 72.7% of its territories from terrorist, hold. All right, stay tuned as we explore these stories. Now, let's move to Anambra insecurity. Insecurity has become one of the most pressing challenges facing Anambra State today, with increasing incidents of kidnapping, armed robbery, and violent crimes, disrupting peace and economic stability of the region. As the state prepares for its forthcoming governorship election, it is crucial to understand how the candidates plan to address these security threats. And joining us for this interview is a member of the All Progressives Congress, whose candidate, Nicholas Okachukwu, is contesting for the governorship, Honorable Sir Tony Uche Ezekwalo, I meant to say. He is the convener and national chairman, Anambra Equity Movement. Now, we shall explore his insights on the root causes of insecurity in Anambra State, the strategies he intends to implement to restore safety, and how his administration plans to collaborate with security agencies and the community to build a more secure environment for all residents. Let's make welcome Honorable Tony Uche Ezekwalo. Honorable sir, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. It's always interesting to be here with you on the DDM TV and programs. And it's good to be here once more. And I'm very much delighted to be here because it's time Anambra people takes back their state. Anambra State needs rescue, and we need to do everything possible to ensure that we take back our state. Thank you, and God bless you as you watch the show.
All right, let's start with insecurity. Security is a major issue in Anambra State, even though the ruling government of Apoga is denying that fact. But how would you assess the condition of security in Anambra State?
Yeah, thank you so very much. Currently, Anambra State can be rated as one of the most insecure states in Nigeria currently. The rate of kidnapping, killings, increased armed robbery, and so many other criminal activities going on in the state gives a cause for worry and concern to every Anambrarian. And it is unfortunate that the government, instead of making efforts to, curb the security situation in Anambra State, are rather playing serious politics with the security situation in Anambra State. So I am really worried because so many people have lost their lives. Billions, if not trillions, lost to ransom payments, and the killings is recurring. You recall that recently the NDA boss was kidnapped in White Junction, not far from this place. Then, if you look at recently too, there's high level of.
Could you unmute yourself? No, mute.
Take care of this.
Just.
Hello?
Speak on.
All right. So, you see, the rate of insecurity here had become so bad that every Anambrian is not only worried and concerned, but there is serious need for people to come together to rescue the state. The APC government under Professor Charles Soludo should stop playing politics, paying lip service to the issue of security in Anambra State. I saw the Commissioner for Information of Anambra State, Lawmefo, come to this station, to this studio, to lie to Anambra that Anambra is safe. You know, even at the midst of the time that was about 2 days ago, a nationwide connected protest in the state over the killing of the young man called Fish Magnet, where the very dark man and the Anambra youths with other youths across the nation came here on what they termed candlelight procession to decry the murder, the gruesome murder of a very enterprising young man that is adding to the economy of the state, that is showing the young people the right way to go. And unfortunately, the young man that was killed, the Fish Magnet, happened to be the only son of the state woman leader of APGA in Anambra State. And then not long from now, about a few weeks ago, Governor Soludo had a program here where the woman in question, the woman of APGA, came out to tell the whole world that Anambra is secured. Anambra is that Soludo has provided security, the government is doing excellently well in area of security, that Anambra is now safe and secured. It wasn't up to 24 hours. Her own son was kidnapped in his own house. And the young man was murdered shortly after in a gruesome way that worries not only Anambra people but the whole of Nigeria. And that woman that believes so much in Soludo, the woman leader of APGA, how is she feeling now? Is that not a betrayal of trust and confidence by the government she believes so much in, a government she prides herself in? Currently, this place we are, the President General of the Mbaku Town Union has been on the run for months now. He cannot step his leg into Mbaku community. A President General of a town union. Where is he now? On the run from the state due to insecurity. Well, were we not all here recently when a woman was murdered in cold blood by the Udogachi Aguna Chamber Security outfit of Governor Soludo? Like I told you the last time I came here, and I challenge anybody to eat that the Udogachi security outfit of Soludo was put in place not to provide not actually to provide security for Anambra State, but as an instrument of intimidation, operation and suppression by Soludo APGA government for the November 8, 2025 governorship election. That name Udogachi, the full name of that thing is Soludo Gachi Ozo. That is the full name of that outfit. And it's a political instrument, not actually put in place for security. Now, if you challenge me, or I challenge Lawmefo to tell me that Anambra is safer as it is today than it was a few months ago. Now, the outfit that was brought in, it is supposed to be a community security outfit, working under and in collaboration with the police. But are they actually working with the police? Are they doing community policing? In community policing, can you bring foreigner who doesn't know or understand the environment to secure that environment? What is their job? Now, how can a community police be wearing masks on the road? You don't know who they are. Some of them carry pump action, some of them carry AK-47. You don't really know who they are, or I mean, what actually their purpose are. I also learned that even at that, men carrying gun have been owed months of salaries, as alleged by some of their members we interviewed on the way, why they were collecting money from people. If you move around every junction, they stop vehicles collecting money, collecting bribes from people every day. They don't even care about checking the vehicles. They don't even care about the police. Their concern is the money. And I took my time with some other of my colleagues to now ask some of them what exactly is the reason why. They told us that for money have not been paid. How can you bring up people when they are young people? More than 80% of them are not from Anambra State. They are from other states. And how can you provide community security with people that are not from the locality? The main commander of that outfit is not an Anambranian. The few commanders are not Anambranians. If they want, I can send them in them. Now, and like those that I used to see around my community, Ojoto, how can somebody that is not from Ojoto, not from Anambra State, not from this part, provide information, intelligence to the police, DSS, and army that will help them to uproot its criminals in my community where they do not know anybody? Apart from being masked, apart from the fact that most of them are not from here, some of them can't even speak Igbo. Or when they speak Igbo, you see that their Igbo is not pure, not real Igbo. The meaning that some of them are not even Igbos. Some of them are not Anambra people. And in community policing, you use locals who know who within the community. This is how it is done. But today, foreigners are used. That was how in their initial operational takeoff. So many of them were killed in a burial in Ihala because by the time the kidnappers came in, also arranged and dressed like them, nobody knew who the difference. And before they know what's happening, about 5 people plus the person that was doing the burial itself, the man that was burying the parent, was equally gone down in that place. Plus the person that came to the person that event manager was also gone down with about 5 members of the Udugachi security outfit. You see, you do not play politics with security. Security is the fundamental reasons why government, the primary reason why government come into being. And what Soludo government is doing in Anambra State is unfortunate. Despite taking 3 billion every month from Anambra coffers as security vote, what is he doing with the money? We are concerned. Now, he doesn't fund the police, he doesn't support the funding of the police, or the DSS, or the army, or the civil defense. He hadn't provided operational vehicles for them. He hadn't assisted in the fueling of the vehicles or providing extra allowances for the operators of the security of the state security forces. Now he provided some second-hand vehicles for the Udugachi Agna Chamber outfit. Now, do you use second-hand vehicles to convert vehicles to run effective security policing operations? During the time of Peter Obi and the time of Governor Obiano, they provided special police security vehicles from Innocent. And then the Anambra Vigilance Services were given their own share, police were given, DSS were given, army was given, civil defense were given. And the government used to provide for Peter Obi to Obiano resources to assist in the maintenance of these vehicles and also in supporting these men that do extra work every day to secure the lives and property of Anambra people. But since Soludo came in, he stopped all those things. So now, having stopped the provision of resources for security outfits, state security outfits in Anambra State, what is he now doing with the 3 billion security votes he's taking every month? Lord, may first come and answer us the reason. This is our money. It's not his own. Governor Soludo is holding Anambra people's money, our common patrimony. He should stop using our money for campaigns. He's using Anambra people's money to buy over vote, to buy over people because he has failed to provide the basics of governance in Anambra State. He has failed almost all around. Apart from security, in education, in infrastructure provision, and so many others. in healthcare. So what I'm saying in effect that Anambra insecurity has grown so much that people are getting to be worried. People are killed more and more now than when it was. The Father Jude Onyeka was kidnapped, even very close to the checkpoint of the Udoganchi people in Ogidi. Some time passed and so many others have been killed. Recently, a woman was kidnapped and killed. Is it in Obunike? Another one that also happened in Umoja last time by Udoganchi people. So, my concern, okay, and also the one in Onitsha, the young man in Onitsha, Isokoto Road Onitsha, was killed by them. Also at Orezukala. And so many other people now are even afraid of their lives more on the part of the Udoganchi outfit than they fear the kidnappers and the criminals. So, what exactly are they telling us? What exactly is the problem? After wasting 3 good years expressing frustration and showing no sign of responsibility towards covering the insecurity in Anambra State, the governor came out with an outfit. Everybody was even expectant that we are going to have a tech-driven, high-tech-driven, international class security outfit in Anambra State because he claimed to be an international professor. But what have we seen? A security outfit that is worse than the one we have in the state. And to me, a time has come when Anambra people come out to question them, and that's part of this why I'm questioning. Now, in Anambra State and all around, we used to have nightlife during Obiano administration. In Oka, in Onitsha, everywhere around. Where is nightlife now in Anambra State? Everybody's now afraid of his life. Then rather than providing the things that people need, he's only interested in putting bombs, speed breakers, bombs, very heavy bombs that damage people's tires in our express roads. I mean, I'm seriously worried and concerned. Governor Soludo have to actually come out to tell the people what he is doing. And having shown this level of incompetence, I think it is time he tells himself the truth, that Anambra had become either too big or too complex for him to handle. And if that is the case, he should throw in the towel. Let Anambra have a government, a governor that is responsible and responsive to the lives and welfare of our people and provide it to the maximum. Anambra people need nothing less than this because we are and should be the light of the nation. Anambra used to pride itself at the safest state in Nigeria, but today, with the advent of Governor Soludo, things have worsened so badly that Anambra people are worried and disturbed. We need back our life. We need back our state. Currently, more than 32% towards 40% of Anambra State geography spaces is still being controlled by non-state actor, by a non-government, and it is worrisome. And that is my concern, and that's my worry.
Right, thank you very much. I love your energy. But what do you think is the root causes of the insecurity? Because the security challenge is not exclusive to Anambra State. It is all over the southeast and even Nigeria. Across Nigeria as a whole. So what do you attribute the kidnapping, the abduction, the massacre? What can you say is the problem?
Now, you said it is all over the country. If you talk about insecurity in the north, we understand where it's coming from. The issue of jihadist agitations, the issue of herdsmen, terrorists, and banditry, fighting over land, and the control of gold and other mineral resources in the north. We understand that one. Then in the east, I say that southeast, everywhere around the southeast is secured. Now let's do a comparison, a comparative analysis. Is Ebonyi State as a secured at Anambra State? Answer me, the answer is no. Ebonyi State is the safest in southeast now with Abia State. We do not have the security in Ebonyi and Abia State currently. Enugu State is the same thing, reasonably, very safe, far more than Anambra. Imo State that used to be the bedrock is now better than Anambra. Anambra is the worst in terms of insecurity in the whole of Southeast. Why would Anambra State that used to be the most secured now turned out to become the worst under an international professor governor who has told us how he helped in taking care of so many things in so many other countries and working in United Nations. Is that what he used to see in Dubai? Is this what is being happening in Taiwan? Is it the Dubai, Taiwan he promised Anambra State people? Is it the Silicon Valley technology he's promising us? Or he promised us? So, what is the root cause? The root cause is simply because, number one, the governor and government of Charles Soludo is paying lip service to security. They are not being responsible enough in coping the security in Anambra State. Governor Charles Soludo is not actually funding security in Anambra State. He's rather making money out of insecurity in Anambra State. And I challenge anybody to this. If a person feels I'm scaring this person should sue me to court. I'm saying that the governor of Anambra State is not responsibly funding security in Anambra State. And if he's not funding security, he's funding insecurity. Every month, 3 billion is taken away from our coffers as security vote. Where has he put it? Why did he stop the provision of logistics and infrastructure to state security actors? The police, the DSS, the army, the civil defense, and the others. Why? Is that money not Anambra people money? Is that money not meant for security? Now, before the local vigilante services in every communities are being paid by the state government. And it doing that for people, they were being paid 20,000 per person per month. During the number of people, I think they pay about 20 people in every community to run in the vigilante service, Anambra vigilante service in that community. How much is the Anambra State government under Governor Charles Soludo providing for payment of community police and vigilante groups in the different communities? How many vehicles are you provided from? P2B provided vehicles for every community in Anambra State. The large ones have 2 or 3. Governor Soludo have not provided one single vehicle for them, for the communities, vigilante groups. They are not funded them. Now, if you are not funding security, which is supposed to be one of the topmost in Anambra State as part of priority, what is it doing? Let us check the budget of the Homeland Security in the 2025 budget of Anambra State. How much did he budget to Homeland Security? If he's not budgeting money there, it means that he's not interested in providing security. Now, aside from that, when government refuses to put in tech, ICT, the management of security, he's not interested in providing security. Because security is high-tech driven in every single country where you have high-level security. Go to Switzerland, go to Dubai, go to Taiwan, go everywhere around the world. You drive security with high-tech equipment. During the Obiano time, the tracking equipment was provided by government of Anambra State, whereby kidnappers are tracked, criminals are tracked, and then apprehended within 48 hours. That state and South out. Go to Anambra State. Today, if you are kidnapped, you have to go to Enugu for Enugu governor to help you to track people that have kidnapped people in Anambra State. And what is it telling us? So then, apart from that, security, you bring in professional to handle security. By the time he came into government, a professor, he now went to bring back the crude Bakassi leader, and the old Bakassi boys during the administration. Professor Charles Soludo went to bring back into Anambra State. I guess I couldn't get them so. But for my own security, I should also be very careful up here. These are the men who have not back. Where have they been all over this world? What have they been trained? You train security operatives in a very secure, high-level, modern security systems and strategies. To what extent were the people trained? How many of them are actually educated? And to what extent are they educated? Now, for you
to now also, in the wake of his government, one of the first things that Soludo did was to say, I ban Aboro. You ban Aboro, there was no alternative provision for what they will be doing. There's no alternative jobs for them. There's no training for them. There's no empowerment for them. There's no way you retrain them, to groom them and bring them back to be useful to the society. Like in America, if you are a cyber criminal and you're very good at it, the American government takes you in, debriefs you, trains you, and uses for security. If you are a very sophisticated criminal, the American government arrests you, convinces you, and then uses your experiences to now design counter criminal security strategies. And it worked. Now, when you come and say you have banned Aboro, you drive in people that are not educated, whose only means of livelihood is working in the parks and markets. Instead of now finding an alternative way of using them, you threw them into the cyber society. And most of them becomes veritable tools for criminals, unknown government, and others. And they were recruited into the bush. And Anambra said, runs here wire in insecurity. Today, kidnapping has become one of the most lucrative businesses in Anambra State. And government have done very little about it. So I will tell you that the root cause of the insecurity in Anambra State is a strategy, the irresponsible strategy, the unworkable strategy, that the crude strategy that Soludo administration brought in that caused this particular problem. And we need to redo. During the Obiano government, the first Obiano did that, he brought in Israeli security experts and other international strategies in security. We now have security summits in Anambra State. From there, we have outcomes and was put into practice. And we worked in Obiano administration. Obiano's administration became the most secure for the first tenure. It was during the towards election in the last tenure that the whole thing started escalating back. And then also after elections, or after men have been armed and empowered, the government should also have a means of retrieving back the arms, of retraining them, and then empowering them back into the society. If you don't do that, you are providing a recipe for higher level of crime and insecurity, violent crime and insecurity. And that's what we are doing in Anambra State. So the governor that gave people so much high hope, so much high promises, have failed on the mandate of securing the lands and property of Anambra State, which is the primary reason for the existence of government. And we, Anambra people, are now happy because we have lost so many illustrious sons and daughters. Okay, the House of Assembly member was more than beheaded. He was Soludo's kinsman for his own village. Victory, freedom, justice, Azoka, sorry, House member that they are not trying to replace, which he said the one that died, to replace the one that had died. Really is campaigning on each other last time, was also a state member of Assembly voting for him. My former campaign director, Obinna Udwejo Escobar, was kidnapped and killed. The banker from Angoli, and so many of them, so many big men. The former the former Labour Party governorship candidate in 2021 election that brought it to Soludo, was kidnapped and killed. And so many others. The owner of the MD of Dubai Estates, as a big man, was kidnapped and murdered within Oka here, and so many others. Which one do we count and which one do we leave? So the government of Soludo has so far failed in preventing, and they have shown frustration, because even when they brought in this chamber, Soludo got or security outfits, they brought in men from Niger Delta militants to come and provide security. Those men that everybody saw in Omunze, in Urumba South, with AK-47 and submachine guns and the other things that came and acted for about a month and they left. Because such things don't provide security, they also enhance the security in the state. And we asked lawmaker, commissioner for information in Soludo administration currently. They should stop playing politics with the lives and properties of people. So the government should provide security or training, or we call it a quit, because they have totally failed in this regard.
I've got your point, but let me out of time. You have mentioned a lot of things that your government, your candidate will bring differently. You mentioned expertise, you mentioned the use of natives, incorporating natives into the security architecture. But what are other things that your candidate would do differently that will, enhance the security condition in Anambra State? And again, also important, we have a lot of security groups in Nigeria and in Anambra State. We have the police, we have the army, we have the DSS, we have the Civil Defense Corps. Then in Anambra State, we have the vigilante groups. And then Soludo has brought in another group, Dogashi. So how do you ensure, how do you create harmony and coherence among this if your candidate gets to power? Briefly, please.
Thank you so very much. There's what they call the Security Council of the state, where all the service chiefs, all the heads of the groups have meetings every week with the governor for briefings. And then for strategizing, it's very simple.
It's very simple thing that they've always done in the state. P2B did it, Obiano did it. I don't know how far they're doing it in the government of Soludo. Now, I want to let you know that Prince Dr. Nicholas Okachuku, Anambra, the candidate of APC in this November 8th gubernatorial election, has a foolproof design for preventing security in Anambra State. Now, he has promised in Anambra that within the first 100 days in office, they will clear off all those areas where these criminals are harboring, in the forest of Osumu, Lilo, Mbose, Seke, those areas, then Orumba South, Orumba North, Aguata, New South, and then Obaru. That they're going to, first of all, bring in high-tech in surveillance and effectively collaborating with the state security actors to clear these forests and bushes. And after clearing them, those places will now be converted to mechanized farming and agro-allied processing industrial aid zones. These are wonderful things that we can do. And if you don't use your forests, criminals use them for you. We can utilize this particular forest and the large vast of land there to do agriculture and industries. He is an agriculturist. He is an industrialist. He's a businessman. And he understands that security, if you don't have security, your business will not thrive. Security is number one thing you do in business. And also, you're also using the issue of welfare, engaging the youth. By the time you make agriculture a professional thing, that where so much money is made that is done in the United States and other places, in Russia, in Ukraine, and other areas. Young people go into modern farming. And the farming can employ millions at the same time without getting saturated. In different various areas, like the fish management was into fish. Fish alone can employ over 1 million people in the fishing industry. Then in the fisheries, if you go to other things like crop farming, it is massive. If you go to Israel, that what Obara did during his time called five settlements, he learned it from the Israelis. They call it kibbutz. Kibbutz is a system of integrated farming system where large expanse of land are provided. And integrated farming, agriculture is done there. Modern class, work with what class equipment. I'm an engineer, I'm a mechanical production engineer. And I specialize in design and production of processing agro-allied processing equipment. We have professors in different areas in Anambra State. Professor Edwin Umegaro is of agric engineering and mechanization. And they have that department in university. They also have it in other areas. We're going to employ this expert. Anambra people have people who are capable and have investors that invest in these areas. With him as an investor, one of the biggest industrialists in Anambra, with the biggest investment in Anambra State in any type of industry, about 12% of the industries. But I said 111 and the others from 13, among other investors in Anambra State. He wants Anambra State to be secure because he's a heavy investor here. You know, you put your heart where your wealth is. Now, as a governor in Anambra State, apart from reclaiming back all these areas and converting it to productive areas, he's going to pursue the issue of having our ports, Anambra ports work. Both that one as Osaka and that of Ironja. in connection with federal government and the private partners, and also with the Imo government and the other government that share the same boundary shores with us. We provide issue of ports that we employ more people. Then education is an education list. By the time you improve the quality of education, pump money into education, education level can also engulf so many people into gainful employment and provide technical based education for Anambrans. By the time a young man knows he can make money with ease without carrying guns, he will weigh the risk. He will know that it's better to engage in more responsible civil means of making money than that. Ukachukwu has come from a background and learned how to make money and become one of the richest billionaires and influential billionaires in Anambra State. He can also utilize mentorship and bring so many hundreds and thousands of young Anambrans he have made billionaires to come in to start mentoring people, to start putting money, investing money in critical area. They will come back and invest in this area. The issue of estate development he's a pioneer in Lagos, in Abuja, in Nigeria. And he has grown so many people in that area. Anambra will become a world-class hub for real estate, for tourism, where the Radisson owns hotel, which is the biggest hotel and the most modern hotel in Anambra, is owned by them, by their company, and so many other things. So in the area of tourism, expanded it, you bring in people, provide employment in that area. Then he has designed industrial clusters, whereby we'll have industrial cluster in the north, in the central, and in the south. And these industrial clusters, we don't need those areas where people are hitherto utilizing for insecurity. Those industrial clusters, the government will provide map land and provide infrastructure. And then people, investors, and the industrialists come and site their own industries. Also, mechanic villages, and modernizing our markets, and allowing traders to elect their leaders and operate by themselves. Then on areas of parks and markets, we're going to modernize the parks. Train those aburos into people that can utilize ICT for collection of revenues. Train them and provide alternative means of livelihood for them. And also provide interest-free loans and grants for youth in billions, whereby youth, not this one they call one youth, two skills. After training, you give them 250,000 and 300,000, where they have spent between 600,000 and 1.5 million in promotion and feeding themselves for 6 months. The government of Anambra will empower ASBA, Anambra Small Business Agency, established by Governor Obiano, expand it, and more funds will come into it in partnership with the Bank of Agriculture and Bank of Industry. More funds, and also international, more funds will come. And Anambra investors, let me tell you something. Only Anambra people, if you secure Anambra State and provide conditions for atmosphere for business, I'll tell you, only Anambra investors, not foreign investors, will bring in trillions within a short period of time. And Anambra will become the economic tourism hub, production hub of Nigeria. And then Anambra will go back to its past glory, where it is known. When Main Market was controlling the entire West Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa in trade and commerce. Anambra will great again with Governor Prince Dr. Nicholas Okafi come Anambra on the saddle come November 9, 2025. And what we are going to do is such a way that Anambra will be happy. If you're a trader, if you're a businessman, the roads have to be free and secured for customers to come to buy. Have to be free for them to go back. If you are an industrialist, your factory will be safe and secured for workers, for those that come to buy and go. And then, like the Nikus industry in Obosi, the single largest chain of industry that have 12 factories inside it. The Chinese that were working there, the 10 of them, 6 of them were kidnapped. And after paying the ransom of over $1.5 million to them, and they ran away, that factory closed down. Most factories, expatriates cannot freely operate in Anambra because of insecurity. But if you provide security, adequate security, it will work. And let me tell you, he has promised that he's not going to do this issue of be taking this kind of security vote that 3 billion of what they are telling today. Those money will be thrown directly into security. If you plunge those kind of money in security in Anambra, if you plunge 3 billion in security in Anambra every month, plus more that will come from investors and other business in Anambra State, I assure you, every youth will be running to Anambra to work, to produce, to get money, to make money. to become millionaires and billionaires. And by the time you start teaching Anambra people love to make money. So by the time you teach them how to make money, others will also be coming to learn here. And Anambra will start exporting billionaires and millionaires to other states across around Anambra. Anambra will become the most secured, the most business-friendly, and the hub of development, not only in the Southeast, but in the whole of Nigeria and Central Africa. Let me tell you, industrial, commercial, economic tourism, plus other social tourism will become what Anambra will prize itself in. And that's what Anambra is to be at the head of the nation. That's what we're looking forward. And also by taking Anambra into the federal government, where things are decided, where funds are allocated and shared. If you are inside where the money is being shared, you get more money and more resources. And federal government will do bigger and bigger projects in Anambra State that will empower the people today in government of Anambra State.
All right, Honorable the convener national chairman, Anambra APC movement. I really enjoyed our conversation today. Thanks for coming. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, DDM. You are doing wonderfully well. And I also enjoy other media stations. Throw more your stations open to people to come in, to air their views, so that more and more people become more aware, and the government will be called accountable and to order. Thank you, and may God bless you.
All right. Now let's move over to our second topic. The Coalition for the Protection of Democracy, COPDEM, is set to inaugurate 3,840 local government and ward executives in Anambra State as part of its grassroots organizational mobilization, highlighting a significant step in strengthening local...
Unmute yourself. Can't hear you.
All right, give me a minute. All right. The Coalition for the Protection of Democracy, COPDEM, is set to inaugurate 3,840 local government and ward executives in Anambra State as part of its grassroots organizational mobilization, highlighting a significant step in strengthening local political structures. COPDEM's activities in Anambra are aligned with its known strategic role in political mobilization, particularly through movements like the Obedient Movement, aimed at grassroots engagement in support of Peter Obi and progressive candidates. The inauguration of 3,840 executives across local government and ward levels is a major organizational milestone that underpins COPDEM's objective to coordinate and enhance political activism and governance participation at the local government level. Now, this organizational expansion is consistent with ongoing political dynamics in Anambra, where local governance structures and party mobilization efforts are intensifying ahead of governorship and other elections slated for late 2025. Now, joining us today to talk about this is Ambassador Justin Kingland, a distinguished political strategist and key member of the Coalition for the Protection of Democracy, COPDEM. Ambassador Kingland also plays a pivotal role in the grassroots mobilization efforts of the Obedient Movement, which has been instrumental in galvanizing youth and community participation in Nigeria's evolving political landscape. Now, with extensive experience in democratic advocacy and grassroots organizing, he brings invaluable insights into COPDEM's recent inauguration of thousands of local government and ward executives in Anambra State. Ambassador Kingland, welcome to DDM Morning Show today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Mr. Tochukwu.
All right, it's nice to have you on our show once again. Now, let me start. What strategic importance does this inauguration hold for COPDEM's vision in Anambra State's politics?
Like you rightly said, first and foremost, it is a show of force. The Coalition for Protection of Democracy coming up to show their capacity in Anambra State. It is not only going to be an Anambra State thing, because we are taking it further as soon as we finish Anambra State, it's going to be across board, the 36 states plus FCT. So it is, like I said earlier, it is a show of force and the magnitude of who we are and our capability in driving democracy, the grassroots mobilization, because the politics is grassroots.
All right, but how would this project, how would this expanded grassroots network strengthen democratic governance and citizen participation at the local government level?
Yeah, we are taking democracy and politics down to the grassroots. We have 226, we have 326 wards in Anambra State. And we are taking the democracy and the, politics down to every ward. And across the 21 local governments. The 3,840 COPDEM executives are going to be inaugurated on Sunday in Nnewi. And you have to think and check what it means and what entails taking the politics down to the grassroots. That is simply showing that it is not only a mere talk. It is not only coming on social media to talk. We are taking the bull by the horn and taking the politics down where it belongs, down where it will make sense, and down where the grassroots will at least, it will be effective and where the impact will yield fruit as what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Kingsland. I want to ask you a question. What structures are in place to ensure transparency, accountability, and the independence of these newly integrated ward executives?
Yeah, for them to come out in mass on Sunday already prove their transparency and loyalty to COPDEM. And you know, politics is a thing of interest. If it does not interest each and every single one of these executives, I'm not sure we will be sitting and talking about inauguration to start with. It is because they have the interest at heart, COPDEM at heart. It is because they are tired of the politics instead of politics as it's supposed to be. It is because they are no longer waiting for anyone to tell them where to belong. It is because they see COPDEM as the right vessel that will move and they drive them to convey their message to the whole entire nation. So the participants and their eagerness already reflect on the mindset of the people we are going to inaugurate.
All right. Thanks for your contribution. But I want to ask that COPDEM might be, I know COPDEM might be expecting or anticipating some challenges. So what challenges does COPDEM expect in mobilizing or coordinating such a vast local leadership? And how does it plan to overcome these problems?
We have a strategic team, and they are actually dealing with this. The challenges we are facing is more like what you discussed earlier, the insecurity in the state. And as it may be, it is also a risk. In everything we do in life, one must take risk. Bringing these people out from the sub-regions of the area where insecurity is at heart is a big challenge for us. But because of the sacrifices of each individual from this perspective, everyone has to sacrifice. To meet up these challenges, we are sacrificing, even though we know we have challenges. Thank you.
All right, you are a key figure in the obedient movement. How does the obedient movement's grassroots mobilization complement COPDEM's initiatives, and what impact do you foresee on the upcoming 2025 Anambra election?
Speaking of that expert, I am the PRO and spokesman of the Directorate of Mobilization for Obedient Movement. And on that regards, obedient movement in generally, both in Anambra State and across board, are standing with His Excellency Peter Obi, our apex leader. Like the slogan goes, that wherever Peter Obi goes, we go. And in that aspect, you all already know that Peter Obi has already endorsed Ohamadike, which is Dr. George Moralo. And in that aspect, the obedient movement in Anambra State at the same time are calling for other obedient movement from other states to show force, a force and support to the man whom the apex leader have already endorsed. So the obedient movement in Anambra State are aligning themselves, and they are throwing their weight and support to Dr. George Moralo.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Ambassador Kingland Justin. It is nice speaking with you today.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Tochukwu. And
all right, see you.
Ibrahim Alaji.
All right.
Nice having you on the program, sir.
Yeah, I hope you all will be with us on Sunday. I'm expecting to see each and every one of you. I thank you so much. I encourage you to do more on what you are doing, bringing the message across board. That's what it is. I remain my humble self, Honorable Ambassador Kingland, the head of mobilization nationwide for COPDEM. Thank you.
All right, it's a pleasure. All right, let's take our last story for today. Omore Sowore, Nigerian journalist and activist, remains detained by police following his arrest on Wednesday. Reports indicate that during an attempt to forcibly transfer him from his detention cell at the Force Intelligence Department in Abuja early on August 7th, police allegedly broke Sowore's right hand. Amnesty International condemned the act as a blatant human rights violation and called for Sowore's immediate release and adequate medical care. Sowore was reportedly moved to an undisclosed location after the injury. The arrest stems from allegations, including forgery and criminal defamation, with one petition reportedly lodged by Assistant Commissioner of Police Bokola Yemisi Kuti, an officer controversially promoted and alleged to have ties to Inspector General of Police Kayode Botekun. Sowore and his legal team accused the IGP of using the police force for personal vendettas against him. Lawyers and human rights groups criticized the arrest and detention process and unlawful, politically motivated, pointing out breaches of due process and abuse of power by authorities. In response to Sowore's detention, the Take It Back movement holds a nationwide protest here today on Friday, demanding his immediate release and reiterating calls against repression of dissent. Amnesty International continues to monitor the situation and has reaffirmed its position, calling on Nigerian authorities to respect human rights and free expression. Now, Sowore has a history of activism against corruption and human rights abuses in Nigeria and has previously faced state repression related to his activism and political ambitions. His detentions in August 2025 is widely perceived as part of a broader pattern of governmental attempts to stifle dissent through arbitrary arrests. The involvement of senior police officials allegedly using their powers for personal vendettas highlights the ongoing concerns about politicization and abuse within Nigeria's security situations and institutions. The incidents surrounding Showere's arrest and alleged police brutality underscore tensions in Nigeria regarding press freedom, the rule of law, and the protection of civil liberties. The use of force and secretive detention practices risks further weakening public trust in the police and judicial systems. The active nationwide protests also indicate an increasingly mobilized civil society demanding accountability and respect for democratic freedom. Now let's talk about this. Mr. Ibrahim, the Take It Back movement, I believe the protest has already started today, but let's have your take on the whole issue. What's your take on the Showere's arrest and the protest ongoing?
All right, Mr. Tuchuku-Raphael, the alleged detention of Omowole Showere is not just an affront to his person, but an attack on the very essence of African democracy. Freedom of expression and fundamental right of all citizens is the basics of democracy. So when a state begins to criminalize dissent, it digs the grave of its own legitimacy. Let it be clear, the arrest of Showere is an attack to democracy, freedom of speech, and every freedom and democracy lover in Africa. It clearly sends a chilling message that tyranny still masquerades as democracy in our land. But we must not lose hope. We should fight back instead. I salute the courage of the Take Back movement and the call by the Amnesty International for silence in the face of injustice is complicity. We must resist the normalization of state repression. We must stand in solidarity with all who are persecuted for daring to speak truth to power. And we must remember an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Let Showere be free. That should be the mantra. Not because he's perfect, but because freedom is the inalienable right of every human on earth. And that's the basics of democracy. Thank you.
But how would you want the government to react to this protest? Because protest is not something that is alien to Nigeria. We have had a series of protests in the past, so it is not a new thing, but we also have seen the way the government responded to this protest. During the NSAS protest in 2020, we saw the high-handedness with which the government under Buhari's administration responded to the situation. Then last year, we had the End Bad Governance protest. We also saw what the government, how it responded. So do you think the government has been responding positively or as expected or in a proper way to protest? Because protest is an inalienable right of the citizen of every country.
So with regards to the government response, I'm not expecting any fair response, just response from the government. But that should not mean that Nigerians should not stand and fight for what is right, what they believe to be right. Clearly, we all agree that freedom of speech is enshrined in our constitution and is the fundamental core of democracy. So everybody should come out and express his sadness over what has been unfolding in our country, because clearly that's not democracy. That is total anarchy. Before us, everyone has the right to speak out. Everyone has the right to challenge or at least criticize the government. So if the government is trying to silence everyone, then it is our responsibility, unanimously and collectively, to challenge that cycle of anarchy and make sure that democracy prevails.
All right, thank you very much, Ibrahim. Let us remind the government of the implications of what is currently happening. The detention and reported ill treatment of Showere exemplifies severe challenges to press freedom. Showere is, He's everything to every person. He's a journalist, he's a human rights activist, although many would disagree. But let me remind the government that human rights detention exemplify, severe, hiccups to press freedom and human rights in Nigeria, and it risks the curtailment of democratic space. Allegations of misuse of police power by top security officials may damage institutional credibility and public confidence in law enforcement. Nationwide protests indicate a rising public demand for government and accountability, and could pressure authorities toward reforms or risk escalated unrest. The case highlights the fragile balance between state security apparatus and protection of citizens' rights in volatile political environments. So, what does Omoyele Sowore detention mean for the country? It means that if there is more, a high rate of civil unrest, it simply tells that the government is expected to do more in order to appeal or take to the fancy of the large population in Nigeria. If this does not happen, then the government should expect intensified violence. We don't pray for that, but Nigeria could descend into what we did not expect. All right, that is it on DDM Morning Show today. I am Toshku Raphael, joined by my co-host Ibrahim Umawase. Now let me remind you, if you love this show, do not hesitate to hit the like button, make your comments, share it, and then subscribe to Diaspora Digital Media. We'll be back next week for more exciting stories. Goodbye from here. Thank you.